Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. Today is the 20th of May 2022. We're going to have a lot of surprises today because with it being Friday and there'll be option expiries and everything. And I suspect that we are already very close to the bottom, and therefore the volatility probably is going to reveal a consolidation pattern in the next couple of weeks. With that said, yesterday I think I made a mistake in interpreting the market. I'm going to talk more about that in this video. So let's get started with our daily update. So when I talk about mistake, basically I had noticed that, and I have mentioned in few of the update videos, that while the QQQ was not dropping that much, we still found a lot of smaller shares dropping significantly, especially our genomic shares. And at that time, I used to say that there are some big stocks that are holding up the QQQ, the ones like Apple, Microsoft, Google. Those are the ones which are holding it up. And what I failed to do yesterday was to think of the possibility that other stocks could go up and these big shares like Apple and all would fall and bring the QQQ down. I hadn't thought about that, so that's a new lesson learned. So things have been changing, and in my mind, I'm thinking that while the Dow was still, S&P 500 was still not below 20%, and even though the market came down, Nasdaq came down still, we had Apple at about 20%. So all those imbalances are getting changed, and probably all our genomic stocks, which have already been beaten up severely, have reached capitulation, and possibly they're waiting for overall signals from the rest of the market to start their move back up. And in the process, I think they are going to experience some volatility, because as investors, when people feel the bottom has reached and put money into the market, and the next day they do not see it going up further, they have doubts, and other people do not invest further because they feel that probably the price would go down, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And we have range-bound consolidation trade happening sideways. I suspect that we are going to see that manifest itself in the next couple of weeks. And if that happens, then we have a roadmap for doing some amount of swing trading in order to make some money, and also start dollar cost averaging as the opportunity provides, as the market provides the opportunity. So that's what I meant. Let's look at our headlines. Today's first headline is that there is a new method to edit insect DNA, and I'm not a great fan of this because they're talking about mutant cockroaches and bugs. So earlier the problem was that these insects lay eggs, and from the eggs hatch the young ones. And scientists had this unsavory task of injecting into the egg all those CRISPR reagents, and it was not very conducive. Now Japanese scientists have come up with a method where maybe the main mother cockroach can be injected with CRISPR-Cas9 components, and the modification will be passed on to the child in the egg. Therefore, the scientists don't have to anymore try to inject eggs and other things. So that's my high-level understanding. I'm not a great fan of playing around with insects. We don't know what could come out of it. I'm always having nightmares about giant bugs and giant spiders and things like that. So I'm not a great fan. So with that said, let's look at the next headline we have. As I mentioned, big tech holding up QQQ have fallen while risk on assets have shined yesterday. So that's why we saw a lot of genomic shares do much better while QQQ as a whole fell. Let's have a quick look at the trading view so that I can show you what I'm talking about. If you look at the list of our genomic shares here, everything is green. There are very few which are red, but predominantly green. But if you go and have a look at Nasdaq, you can see that Nasdaq was down minus 0.54%. So we had a good day with genomics, but the biggest fall seems to have happened in big tech, where you can see that Apple has fallen 2.46%. And then if you go and look at Microsoft, it has fallen minus 0.37%. You look at Google, it has fallen minus 1.47%. So they're all seeming to come to the area that we like them to be in. Now I'm going to just measure the drop for Apple from where it was. So right now we are at 137.35 and pre-market we are at 139.55. So I'm going to go to 137.35. So we had fallen to minus 25%. So my test that Apple should fall below 20% has been taken care of. However, we have one big factor that we have to keep in mind here. I'm going to draw a horizontal line out here. Now, this particular line here is a support. If we fall below this today, then we have a lot of pain in store for us. But if we bounced off this line and went back up today, then things will look better. And by the looks of it, the market has shown us, pre-market has shown us that we are at 139.52. So we have bounced off this green line. So if that stays true at market open, then I think we probably have reached the bottom. This is just my opinion. Please do your due diligence before you start investing. But my opinion is that we should start seeing consolidation, and consolidation means range bound movement sideways. So we are looking for that in the coming week. That's where I think I would put this. And then going back to the headlines, I think that when it comes to cryptocurrencies, Shopify has decided to embrace cryptocurrencies, and it's done an integration that can allow it to accept 20 cryptocurrencies for payment. And initially they are giving a processing charge free window of time for buying, and after that there will be processing charges. So that's another move made by Shopify to solidify its own position. So let us see how this is taken up by the market. Then there is this interesting news conference where reporters were asking the White House about the stock market, and they accepted that, they acknowledged that they don't look at the stock market on a daily basis. And we also know that Fed Chief Powell is also focused on inflation. So there is nobody focused on the stock market. So we have to remember that expecting anybody to come in and do something that can pick up the stock market is a futile exercise, because they have themselves claimed that they have other priorities and stock market is not their main priority. And again, stock market is not for the general public. The people who are already on the stock market, you and I and all, we may not consider ourselves privileged, but many people don't have brokerage accounts. Many people don't have money to put in stock market. So it's a smaller segment, and I don't think the government is looking at this segment. They are more concerned about inflation, which affects everybody, and they want to focus on that. So keep that in mind when you have thoughts that somebody or the other is going to come in and rescue the stock market. That's not going to happen. We have to rescue the stock market with our thoughtful actions. Maybe we are at the bottom and volatility is consolidation, and it's going to manifest itself in the next couple of weeks. And if that happens, we are into a good time where we can start making money again. So with that said, I would like to look at the fear and greed index, which has moved up from 9 to 12. So there has been a bit of easing of the fear, and we have to see where it goes by the end of the day today. Hopefully it starts moving towards from extreme fear to fear, and the market also starts improving. And when we come to neutral, that's when we'll see the consolidation happening. And when we come to greed, that's when the bull phase will start. That's the blueprint in my mind. That's how I look at this chart. If you look at the stock market heat map, you can see Microsoft has lost 11.6% in 1 month, in the last 1 month. Apple has lost 17.87%. Google has lost 13.86%. And if you look at Amazon, it has lost 30%. Tesla has lost 27%. And when we look at the financial sector also, you can see that Bank of America has lost 13%. And we have JP Morgan down 10%. And we have got Berkshire Hathaway, which has lost 12.81%. So there's been big falls in all the sector. Semiconductors, Nvidia down 20.29%. And we have got AMD has somehow done well. in the last month, and it is up 2.82%. But generally, semiconductors have been red overall. Software application, CRM, Salesforce, Intuit, everything is in the red. And when we look at consumer defensive, it's all red, with Procter & Gamble at minus 13.4%. And when we look at the healthcare plans and insurance, they're also not doing very well. Biotech also has had a lot of red in it, and diagnostic systems also has had red. Utilities have been red. So overall, everything has come to a stage where there is going to be capitulation. Those who are in the energy sector have to be very, very careful, because it has reached peak and it's starting to come down, because the overall market feels that the GDP is going to shrink. When the GDP shrinks, that means production, manufacturing, consumption, everything is going down, employment is going down, purchasing power has been destroyed, and therefore the demand for oil and energy is going to go down. That's why if you're in energy, you have to be very, very careful and take your profits, because it's the next chip to fall. And we'll see that when we look at the oil charts when we do Nasdaq analysis. So with that said, let us also go ahead and also look at our grouping performance. And you can see that yesterday basic materials had done extremely well, consumer cyclicals and healthcare did well, and that's where I think our genomic stocks also fared much better. And in a 1 week basis, if you look at it, energy, basic materials, utilities and healthcare were doing well. So overall, I think the defensive areas are doing better, and the more risk-on areas are doing worse. And if you look at the whole month, the picture for the whole month, everything has been red. So that shows the amount of demand destruction that has taken place, and the GDP is definitely going to shrink. And when that happens, market participants are going to say that the stocks that we hold, those companies are going to have poorer performance going ahead, and therefore they would have lesser cash flow, lesser EPS, their PE should be much lesser on a forward basis, and that's how the share prices keep going down. But at the same time, when they see green shoots of hope, then there will be selective picking of companies. Some companies where the management has already said that they have got control over their pricing, and that they have a better view of their next quarter, that it's going to be better. Those kind of companies will end up attracting money, and they will do well, while the others will be more volatile. So that's the script that I think is going to play up. And then coming back to our headlines, I think that one of the things that we have to look forward to today is high levels of volatility, because it's very difficult to understand what's going to happen. Yesterday we had the rally, and I have explained that Apple, Google and all those guys fell and bought QQQ down, whereas the genomic stocks were picked up because they were beaten up. But we still don't have a clear signal that the bottom has been reached. Until that happens, the market is going to try to find it out by oscillating between two levels, a few days up, a few days down. So we may have a down day today. We don't know. The futures are looking great, but yesterday also the futures looked great, but then they dipped. So we can't go by that. So we'll see what happens. We'll do the next part of this video as a Nasdaq technical analysis. We'll try to find out if we can see any clues there. Let's start off with Nasdaq. I'm going to go and have a quick look at futures. And the futures are pointing positive, 1.5, just like yesterday. But we know yesterday that the QQQ came down despite futures pointing positive. So let's keep this in the back pocket as a potentially bullish sign. Let's go on to the indicators. First thing I'm going to look at is US oil. US oil continues its fall, but it's still within yesterday's range. So it's not going to make much of a difference. MACD has still not crossed over to the signal line. It's still bullish. Momentum is still above average. So we will consider this to be potentially bullish, but leave it at that. And then I'm going to have a look at put call ratio, and the put call ratio as of yesterday was at 1.22, which means it's bearish. So two potentially bullish and one bearish sign. And if you look at the VIX, this is today's candle, 20th May, the small red candle. So VIX has come down. It has got very strong support at 27.20 with the 50-day exponential moving average and the horizontal support, both coinciding. So it's going to be difficult for VIX to fall below 26.70, but the fact that it has come below where it was yesterday is a positive in my books. However, it is still within the range where it was the day before, so don't expect too much of a relief. That's what I would say with this. And then let us look at the US dollar index. US dollar index is still within yesterday's candle range, so it's not going to make much of a difference. It is still positive today, moving up. It's trying to pierce through the resistance at 12720, which is this line. This is a resistance right now, so I'm going to keep it as a red. So if we pierce through that and go up, then money will be sucked out of Nasdaq and from gold. Now let us look at our US dollar 10-year yields. US dollar 10-year yields are down, but they started where we ended yesterday, and since then they have come to that level, and they are still within the range of yesterday's candle. So I don't think this means much for the market at this point of time. If you see 2-year USD, it's gone positive, but it is still within yesterday's candle range. So the performance for the market can be within the range that we were in yesterday. So this doesn't give us any conclusive proof. If you look at S&P 500 and if you look at pre-market action is showing a positive. Yesterday also, if you remember, pre-market showed positive. And then you go to QQQ. QQQ is also showing pre-market positive, and we are slightly above this support of 289.58 when we ended yesterday, and today we have gone up all the way to challenge the 9-day exponential moving average, which sits at 298.87. Right now we are at 293.66. So we could hit that and come back down and then bounce back up. We'll have to see how the market is going to behave, because MACD is still stubbornly bearish and momentum is still below average and weak. So with that said, I think I would like to go and have a look at gold. What is gold doing? And if you look at gold, gold is slightly up. The fact that gold is slightly up is positive in the sense that US dollar index might go down and money is coming from that. But you can see that it's a Doji candle supported by the 9-day exponential moving average, and we are still within the body of yesterday's candle. So this is not giving us any clues as yet. MACD has still not crossed over to the bullish side. So we want to see that move up. Momentum is also below average and flat. We want to see the momentum spike up. We are not seeing those things. So this is inconclusive. So there is indecision out here. And with that said, let's go and have a look at our Genomic shares. Let's take a good look at all these green watch list for us in Genomics. It's been a very long time since we have seen such greenery. Having said that, I would also caution all of you to do a thought exercise. Just think, imagine that you are someone who bought Teledoc yesterday morning when the market opened, and you are sitting at a gain of 2.04. What was your thought process yesterday evening? Would you have sold it? If not, this morning, do you think you want to take the profits and sit on the sidelines because you're not sure whether the prices are going to go up? Now, that is the thought every investor has, and all the people who have made profits here, like the ones who bought Vertex, made a gain of 3.10, the ones who bought CRISPR and made a gain of 1.73, or ArcGeo and 1.91, or Beam and 1.91. Those people are all going to evaluate that question. Have we reached the bottom? Are we still going to go up? Or is there going to be need to take profits and sit back in the sidelines? So if you look at the price of oil and if you look at the price of gold, they were all dojis, waiting for the market to open to see which way the market psychology moves. So we probably have to watch the market the first couple of hours to see what direction it takes, and also to complicate the whole thing, we have option expiries and all taking place, and that's going to make it a bit more difficult to understand what is happening. So it's going to be a risky day today. I don't know whether it's going to go up or down, but definitely what I would like to do is to start looking for some kind of consolidation. So this is a 2-hour chart, and I'm going to draw some consolidation lines out here. I'm going to draw a line out here on the top, and then I'm going to draw a line out here in the bottom. So we're going to look at this every day and see if we continue moving within this range and we have at least one more touchdown and one more touch up, then we can say that we are in consolidation and start our swing trading activity. where we'll have an option to make money between 511 and 578 in that range. So we have around maybe 50 cents to be made per share. So that's a good enough incentive. If you can buy 100 shares, you're out there making some money instead of just sitting empty-handed. Let us look at IMTX, whether it's got some range bound action, and we can see a little bit of consolidation here, in my opinion. We are here, then we take this, just move it down a little bit. So these are our two lines of consolidation for IMTX. Likewise for Teladoc. Teladoc has got good consolidation out here. I think Teladoc shows a range of consolidation, but we need to have two touch points in the top and the bottom to validate the channel, and that's what we are going to be waiting for. So we already validated the bottom, we have not validated the top. So with that said, whenever we approach close to the bottom, there is a good chance that we can buy and expect to see gains, and we can sell it as it moves up. Maybe halfway to this channel we can sell off until we have another validation at the top. Then we can have an idea of how much range we have got for our swing trade. So I would do this for the rest of the shares off camera, and show this to you tomorrow or on Monday when we do our daily update, and we can start devoting more time for Genomic shares technical analysis, because now it would start making sense. If we have consolidation in the 2-hour time frame, we can talk about potential swing trades, and initially we'll estimate potential swing trades, not actually execute them, and see whether what we estimated actually happened. If it does happen, then we'll start putting money on it. That's my approach, and I would like each of you to do your own due diligence before investing anything, because at the end of the day, no one can predict stock market accurately. We can just make probable guesses. It's all opinions. You have to do your own risk analysis to do your own investments. So with that said, I'm going to look at IDNA and see if we can see any consolidation in IDNA. As you can see, the volumes are also very thin. So thin volumes don't mean much. We need heavier volumes to detect any kind of consolidation. But I'm just going to draw two lines here to potentially where I might see consolidation, and we'll check this out in the next few days and see if it gives us some clues whether the biotech sector is consolidating. Now, if you look at CRISPR, even though CRISPR has gone up yesterday, I think CRISPR is still on a solid wicket, because there is some positive news somewhere which we are not aware of that is giving it a lot of support. If you look at a formation like this, where you have a red candle here and the next candle happens to be another red candle, that is called as the evening star. That marks the turnaround from a bullish trend to a bearish trend. We missed that by a hair's breadth because we have a Doji candle yesterday and it's a green Doji candle. So all the more today we have to be extra careful with CRISPR and make sure that we do not get into the way if it starts falling. So watch what CRISPR does for the first couple of hours, and that will give us a clue where it's going to go, because we have avoided evening star very, very narrowly, and we are also very close to the overbought range. So that's going to be dampening down CRISPR. And if we were to go to look at Vertex, you would see for a very long period of time we were very close to the overbought phase, but we still continued moving up. Now that's also a possibility that can happen with CRISPR. I think among all the genomic companies, CRISPR is very strong. So I'm rooting for CRISPR today, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility that we may have a bit of a sideward movement or consolidation until the oversold signals on the RSI comes down and subsides. And if by that time MACD crosses over the signal line and goes into the bearish side, then we'll have negatives for CRISPR. Otherwise, we can expect to go back up again. Friends, it's been an incredible journey so far. 6 to 7 months ago, I was an average investor, just going about placing my trades and everything. And then I started this YouTube channel, and many of you joined me and encouraged me. And we are reaching a milestone of around 500 subscribers. We should touch that very soon. We are at around 483 right now. So I'm planning to come up with a special video, and I want to incorporate our early subscribers and most active subscribers and anyone who would wish to participate in a special video. So I have a series of questions that I can send across to you, and you can decide which questions you want to answer. And I would like to stitch together a collage of all those videos and make a special video to mark the 500 subscriber number when we hit it, and to celebrate the community tab that we will get once we reach 500. So if you are interested, please go to the homepage of ShareTreck. I have my email address there, sharetrek@gmail.com. You can send me an email saying that please send me the questionnaire, and I'll send you a bunch of questions. Pick up 1, 2, 3, whatever number of questions you like. Answer the questions that you feel comfortable to answer. Use your own video, use your own audio, send it back to me, and I'm going to put it all together, and we'll have a surprise video to celebrate our 500 subscribers. And my hope is that we as a community, when we get the community tab, become more interactive and share market intelligence, so that we can have a better idea of where the market is going and do better decisions when it comes to placing trades. Thanks and have a great day. Please press a like if you like this video. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and push us towards the 500 subscriber goal. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.